It's a very exciting time to be a wrestling fan.
If you're in the business of making money, it would behoove you to be a safe and inclusive space.
Whether you agree with what someone is saying has nothing to do with his right to say it.
What's up, y'all? My name is Devontae, and I sacrifice my time so you don't have to. If you want to skip ahead, timestamps are down in the description box below. Go for it. Trust me, I won't be offended. I completely understand. You're still in my video regardless, alright? But for the rest of you, check this out real quick. In a recent appearance on the Kick Rocks podcast, dope ass name by the way, Mercedes Moné, formerly Sasha Banks, expressed her belief that she will return to WWE at some point in her career. Moné said, and I quote, "I know I'm going to be back there one day. It's not over. I have a lot of unfinished business in wrestling in a lot of places." Moné is expected to debut for AEW at next week's Big Business special edition of Dynamite on TBS. Moné previously said that leaving WWE was, and I quote, "the hardest decision I've ever had to make in my whole life, but it's the proudest," end quote. And is grateful to the promotion for the, and I quote, "the career they gave me, the fans they gave me, the life they gave me, the dreams that they gave me." Look, you guys already know my, at least my own personal perception. Some fanboys might get offended by this. I personally think that Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks, I think she's highly overrated. That's just my opinion. She does have really, really good matches, and I still hold her and Bayley's match at NXT Brooklyn back in 2015 as one of the greatest women's matches of all time. I will never take that away from her. I will never take away her in-ring ability. When I say overrated, I mean from the position of how her and her fans bestow upon her as far as being one of the greatest women wrestlers of all time. Completely disagree with that whole notion, but again, it's all on our own perception. It's all based off of our own flavor, our own purview. You can't get all upset at me because I have a different opinion than you regarding my favorites versus your favorites. But with that being said, you know, she didn't say anything that was so bad, so wrong. I mean, quite frankly, she came back to WWE after AEW. That'd probably be really, really cool, because even though she got her start in WWE and she made a name for herself in WWE, going to AEW, I will hope that Tony Khan, from all the rumored money that I heard that he's given her, I will hope that he will make the best of said investment, right? You're gonna, because I gotta assume, like, with, because what was it? I could be wrong. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. I heard the reported number to be around $3 million. Again, someone can correct me if I'm wrong. If that's the case, she's gotta be top 3 highest paid women in the business period today. Like, maybe even top 2, only behind Becky Lynch, from my understanding, and by far the highest paid woman in AEW. That's not even fucking close. So if you're gonna invest that much time into her, hey man, hopefully she'll do something for your business, right? I don't know. The problem with Sasha Banks, and it has nothing to do with her. Like I said, I have my own personal perception about Sasha, but I mean, in terms of the booking going forward with her and AEW, my only problem with her is there's not really anybody worth a damn. You know what I mean? Like, yes, Sasha will be the biggest name in AEW, not just from a women's standpoint, but probably overall when you think about name value. Honestly, when you look at the entire roster, Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, Jericho, maybe Kenny Omega, and that's really, really pushing it. Outside of that, I don't think, and maybe I'm not thinking too hard enough, but I don't think there's anybody else on that roster that comes even remotely close to Sasha Banks' name value. And again, the Kenny Omega thing, I'm really, really stretching right now. So she can be a valuable asset to the women's division from that standpoint right there. Facts are facts. I don't have to like her to at least acknowledge that. And, you know, Toni Storm, she's killing it right now. But with all due respect to Toni, who probably has my favorite gimmick in all of professional wrestling, male or female, she's not quite on Sasha Banks' level from a name value standpoint. And I see people who are throwing out Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter isn't even on Toni Storm's level name-wise, let alone Sasha Banks. So it is going to be very interesting to see, you know, where she lands as far as her first feud is considered. It's kind of like the CM Punk situation. It's like, okay, cool, he came in, but then you immediately set him up with people like, I mean, Darby Allin, obviously he's not on the same level, but at the same time it's one of those things where it's like, okay, well, at least Darby Allin is somewhat of a name, at least to AEW fans. But then you threw him in there with random people like Will Hobbs and shit like that to build him up to MJF, and you just took way too long to get him out of the starting gate. The same thing, you can't do that with, I mean, honestly, if you want my honest opinion, if you really want to, and even her name value isn't really the same as it used to be, and even at its peak, it's still not at Sasha Banks' level. I just throw her in there with Britt Baker, honestly. Bring Britt Baker back on television, that could be your first feud, and then start building her up. But then the problem with that is, if you're going to do Toni Storm versus anybody, it's automatically going to take a back seat to Sasha Banks. So one may even argue, put her in the ring with Toni Storm and just automatically give her the belt. Some people may think that's a bad decision, but I mean, fuck, it is AEW. They don't care about championship belts as far as the actual prestige of it. Shut the fuck up. No, they don't. But that's what I do. I put the belt on her like immediately. Just put her in the feud with Toni Storm and get the belt off of her. Because otherwise, anything that Sasha Banks is going to do with the women is going to completely overshadow. Hell, even some of her matches might even overshadow some of the men from a name value standpoint. So, I mean, good on her. Good on her for getting that money, as she will say, I guess. And we'll just talk about this more when Wednesday comes up, and, you know, we'll discuss this more then. But with that being said, let's get to the Smackdown review. All right, that was kind of a subdued intro, but again, I expect SmackDown to get a little bit better as time starts to go on throughout the night. Hopefully. Again, it wasn't bad as far as the intro is considered, but like, I don't know, I was expecting a little bit more progress, but it kind of seems like, at least from seeing what we were, you know, checking out in these last two segments, kind of seems like we know where they're going to go for WrestleMania, am I right? So, you had Logan Paul come out and he opened up the show, right? He starts to run down all his list of credentials, who he beat, yada, yada, yada. Typical heel shit that you always get from, you know, wrestlers, blah, 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 blah shit, right? And eventually, he announces that his Prime drink is now going to be an official sponsor, or I guess they're going to be in partnership with WWE. I'm surprised that they're just now announcing this. I don't know. I just always figured, like, you know, they were already in partnership to begin with. Like, I just figured that was part of his contract when signing with WWE. Was like, hey, you're going to promote Prime. Kind of like Ric Flair and the Woo Energy stuff on AEW. I just always assumed Prime was already a sponsor, but apparently not. They're now just getting a sponsorship deal, and they're going to be like in the center of the ring. Very WCW-esque, just it's in the middle of the ring and not like in all the corners, but it's okay. But nevertheless, though, he's talking and he brings out his buddy KSI. I know very little of these two. Well, KSI at least. I know who Logan Paul is, but KSI, I've seen him around on YouTube and stuff like that. You know, conning people out of money and shit like that because, you know, him and Logan Paul are a bunch of scammers. But, you know, he comes out. I guess he's partners with Logan Paul, I guess, whatever, with the little fucking Prime drink. Which, by the way, maybe, I don't know, like, is it like a really big deal? I heard, like, yeah, it's like $1 billion company or something like that. I don't really see, I think I've seen it maybe one time in Publix, but it was like in one Publix store. I didn't see it, like, ever again. I don't know, I'm never gonna drink that shit. That shit has way too much sugar. Gonna be poo-pooing all over the goddamn floor. But Randy Orton comes out. He does a little bit of a sneak attack, you know, a little universe mode cutscene where, like, you know, they play the music and Randy's not coming through the entranceway. Then he comes in the ring, tries to hit an RKO on Logan Paul. Logan gets out of the ring, and KSI, who for some reason didn't notice Randy coming in the ring, I don't know. I guess he's a retard. I don't know what to say. He turned around right into an RKO. Randy Orton laid him out, and then it goes directly into the match with Randy Orton and Kevin Owens taking on Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. And I gotta just reiterate this one more time. The fall from grace of Austin Theory is just astounding compared to where he was last year. But he was getting ready for a match against John Cena around this time, and now he can't even get an entrance. He can't even get an entrance. He got the you gonna be in the ring when we come back from a commercial break jobber entrance, and it's just so sad. Such a sad thing. He's so sad. Poor Austin Theory. He's so sad. He's so damn sad. I know he's sad. But they have their match. Pretty stereotypical tag team match. Yada, yada, yada. I mean, I thought the finish was pretty cool, though. The little pop-up from Kevin Owens to the RKO. That was pretty cool. But outside of that, yeah, kind of stereotypical tag match. You got a bunch of, got heat on Kevin Owens. You got the hot tag in. Randy Orton cleans house. Does little RKO spot. I thought Grayson Waller and Austin Theory were going to do something a little bit more promising, too, considering that he just got, they're entangled with the whole Rock and Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, but I guess they were just jobber feeder at the end of the day. That's cool. Oh, they're playing that stupid ass theme song again for WrestleMania, aren't they? Fuck, god damn it. Can we get hard rock music back? I'm saying this again. Let's get some hard rock music back in WWE. We need that. No more of this stupid ass pop music shit. But after the tag team match, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, they're celebrating as stoically as humanly possible. And Logan Paul comes back in the ring, hits him in the back of the head with 2 double clotheslines. He pulls out of his brass knuckles, and it looks like he was going to hit Randy Orton with it. But then Randy, he took the brass knuckles off his hands, and he tried to hit Logan Paul with it, but Logan ducked out of the way. And he almost hit Kevin Owens, but he stopped suddenly, and, he's not an idiot. He's a veteran, and he's like, I've been down this road. I've been on the opposite end of it, and I've also been in a position where I was taking it. So, yeah, I'm not an idiot. But, that's fine. I guess we now know the path of where they're going to go down. It's going to be a triple threat match, most likely. I'm assuming with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton and Logan Paul for the United States Championship. Now, granted, I kind of feel like Randy Orton could be doing something a little bit more important, I guess. But it is what it is. I would much prefer Randy Orton doing something a little bit more, something of his caliber. Former main eventer of WrestleMania, 2 or 3 times? How many times did Randy Orton main event WrestleMania? He main evented 09, 2014. Is that it? Is that the only WrestleManias that Orton? Yeah, wow. Yeah, Orton only main event. I mean, he's been in a lot of world championship matches, but Orton has only main evented 2 WrestleManias, hasn't he? The one in 09 and 2014 with Danielson and Batista. Yeah, oh, wow. Crazy. Never really thought about that. But, again, pretty blase, squaze type of segment to open up the show. Wish it would have been a little bit more exciting, but it is what it is. But I see Damage Control right now on my television, so we'll get to that and we'll come back and continue talking about the show. So let's continue on with the show then, shall we? All right, before we go on commercial break with Tiffany Stratton taking on Meechin, there's a couple things we have to talk about. So let's go a little bit back in the past. Let's go back in the past, okay? So, Bayley, she pours her heart out. She gives everything out. She leaves everything out in the open as to why she's a dumbass babyface for trusting Dakota Kai. Because seriously, how did you not see that coming? Again, I understand in the end of the day, when it comes to some of the wrestlers, they have to play this oblivious babyface, this stupid fucking obnoxiously stupid babyface. I hate that so much. I get it. I understand it's a way to forward the story, but for the love of God, give them some material where you don't make them look like clowns, bruh. Again, I'm talking about a wrestling tripe here, right? I shouldn't be getting so, flustered over this. It's been going on for the better part of, since the beginning of professional wrestling. For sure, since the expansion period back in the 1980s. Because, again, Hulk Hogan was a pretty dumb fucking babyface also when you think about it. Nevertheless, though, Bayley, again, she pours her heart out. She talks about Dakota Kai and the betrayal and how she's down on her luck and how she has no one to look towards and how this is her most vulnerable in her life. Dude, you just won the Royal Rumble and you're going to WrestleMania. I get it as far as the actual real life circumstances are considered. It's as if you haven't really won the Royal Rumble because it's not like WWE is actually giving you any legitimate time to, kind of graze over the pasture, if you will. That's all going to Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch. But you did win the Rumble, kayfabe-wise at the very least, and you are going to WrestleMania. Yeah, you're vulnerable right now, but dude, you are in the most privileged position possible. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Nevertheless, so you did go backstage after the little bit of a sit-down interview. Kind of a change of pace, by the way. Liked it a lot. And you have Naomi, who's watching the television set, and Bianca Belair, she's right there too. She's watching alongside with Naomi. For some reason, again, they're standing sideways looking at the television set. Again, I know this has been something they've been harping on within WWE and wrestling for the longest time. Seriously, it's so weird and so stupid. Why did they do that? But Bianca Belair, she's like, hey, I don't like, you look like you're sympathetic, you look like you're sad towards Bayley, and Naomi is like, well, yeah, I feel bad. And Bianca's like, girl, you don't even go here. No, seriously though, she was like, well, you weren't here the entire time watching Bayley run roughshod over everybody, and like, you don't have to feel sorry for her. I mean, you know what it kind of felt like to me a little tiny bit? Was I the only one? Maybe I was the only one. I'm hearing how Bianca Belair is talking about Bayley and how Naomi is kind of like sympathizing with Bayley. Is it just me, or does they're not gonna go in that direction, because that'd be kind of stupid, because like they already have one superstar doing that angle, but it kind of felt like they were doing the Drew McIntyre angle a little bit, right? Like Bianca Belair playing the role of Drew McIntyre. You just had Drew McIntyre go out there and say, why are you feeling sorry for Jey Uso? God, that was a horrible Scottish accent. But yeah, I mean, you have Bianca Belair kind of doing the same thing with Naomi. We'll see where it goes, but hopefully they don't go down that road, because that'd be really, really stupid. Speaking of really, really stupid, you had this match with Karrion Kross and Bobby Lashley. The match that finally happened, like, Jesus Christ. How long have they been like promoting this match in some type of variable way between the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley going up against Karrion Kross's group? It's been a while now. But they finally got their one-on-one match. It was boring as all hell. Like, really, really boring. I'm sorry, Karrion Kross sucks. I'm never going to put this on Bobby Lashley, because Bobby Lashley could be excited when he wants to. Karrion Kross sucks. It's crazy. About 3 years ago, from what I remember, I was actually pretty high on the guy. Super duper crazy though. Super duper crazy. Oh, look at the Hall of Fame class. Holy crap. Bull Nakano, Paul Heyman. Who is that? That's Barry Windham, isn't it? Is that Bray Wyatt's dad? Oh, the American Express. Yeah. Not the American Express. The American Express, or United States Express, what the fuck they're called. Yeah, they actually, fun fact, the U.S. Express or the American Express, whatever the fuck their names are, they actually had Hulk Hogan's original Real American theme. Yeah, fun fact. They had that theme first, and then Hogan got it eventually. I don't know, just felt like I should probably throw out a little nugget for you guys. But you had the match between Bobby Lashley and Karrion Kross. Super duper boring. Ended up with a disqualification finish with Bobby Lashley getting attacked by AOP. This is weird though. This is a weird beatdown segment, because you had AOP interfere in the match, and they're like beating down Bobby Lashley and everything, and then it's like, yeah, that's fine, that's good, that's all right with me. And then the odds start to even out with the Street Profits, and then they come out, and then they start to brawl, and then Scarlett comes in the ring, and then B-Fab comes to kind of even the odds, and all hell breaks loose. So you think to yourself that, like, well, I mean, everything just started to even out as all the teams started to filter in, so now the baby faces are going to overcome everything. And I looked away for like 2 seconds. I don't know how the hell they got the advantage, but then like Karrion Kross's group just got the advantage, and they beat the hell out of all the people involved in the ring. And I was like, what happened? I just looked away for 2 seconds. I thought that was hilarious though. Then we had this little bit of a backstage segment with, they're like recapping all the stuff that happened last Friday, which I didn't watch because I didn't have any reason to, because I was in YouTube jail. But apparently there was a street fight match with Legado del There was a match between Legado del Fantasma and the LWO in a street fight with Rey Mysterio returning. And then you had Kalisto walking down the corridor. And then you had Santos Escobar and Elektra Lopez. They walked up to Lince Dorada, and they're just like, oh, you think you're going to be the new Rey Mysterio? You think you're going to be the one to take over Rey Mysterio's spot? And then Grand Metalik was like, me don't speak English, Poppy. And they're like, we don't speak English too, Poppy. Then they beat the crap out of him, and then he falls on the floor. Actually, they didn't even beat the crap out of him. They're like bullies. Like all of them, the whole Legado del Fantasma surrounded him, and all they did was just push him on the floor. You would think they stump him out or something. No, they just shove him on the floor, and that was it. And I was like, oh, that was lame. I'm not gonna lie, this episode of Smackdown so far is kind of lame. But again, we still got the main event to get to. Oh, look at that. Cool. I don't have to talk about the match with Meat Chan and Tiffany Stratton, because Tiffany Stratton, and that whole time period between the commercial break and coming back for it, that entire duration, Like, that's how long the match lasted. And Tiffany Stratton won the match. So, yeah, there you go. No need to talk about that. Continuing on with the show. Oh, so they're doing this already? Okay, that was fast. I don't like this SmackDown tonight. I'm not feeling this. This is not a good. You know what? Maybe tonight it can all wrap up in a nice little bow if they can give me a dope ass main event segment. And it looks like it's gonna be dope. I don't know. Nick Aldis just went to the door right now of, I'm assuming, Seth and Cody to go see if they're in their locker room. They're not. Again, we'll see how that's going to play out. That's going to be the next segment. But real quick, though, let's talk about what we've seen so far. As I mentioned before, Tiffany Stratton, she won her match against Michin. We had AJ Styles. He cut a little bit of a promo against LA Knight, talking about all the other stuff he discussed in the past, about how LA Knight stepped over his dead body to take his opportunity away from him, how he feels like he's just nothing more than a punk, yada, yada, yada. And it ended with LA Knight, for some reason, breaking his TV and hitting it with a chair. And that's a perfectly good fucking TV. Why would you do some shit like that? That's so goofy. Why would you break your TV like that, bro? That's a perfectly good, fine TV. But it looks like they're heading into WrestleMania. I don't know how I feel about that, because they already had a match on SmackDown, and I'm not really okay with matches. Nevertheless, I mean, I already don't like the fact when they have rematches from pay-per-views on regular shows. I definitely don't like to see regular show matches happen in a rematch on pay-per-view. And I damn sure don't want to see a regular TV show match happen on a rematch on pay-per-view that happens to be WrestleMania. But we'll see how it's going to go going into the next week's show when, they start to build up their match for WrestleMania. We had a goofy-ass segment with Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne promoting the 2K22 or 2K24 game. And by the way, guys, for those who keep asking me whether or not I'm going to make gameplay about 2K24, no, I'm not. I've seen the gameplay controls for it already, and the control scheme looks like it's been for the past couple of years with the whole Tekken bullshit. It looks like they don't have promos back in Universe mode still, and I just, no. Nope. Gonna still stick with my 2K19. I'm perfectly fine with that. We had Dragon Lee going up against Angel Garza in a match where I just really didn't give any fucks about. Before I talk about that, I do want to touch on the whole Dakota Kai stuff also. So, they did run another angle with Damage Control, and this is all I asked for. Again, if you're not going to go out of your way to, how do I put this? If you're not going to go out of your way to give me something grandeur in regards to a feud, at least hit on the 7 a bunch of times throughout the night so it can keep it, feeling fresh in my mind. It feels like it's a big deal whenever you're going to actually put it on the main show or you're going to promote it for the next pay-per-view. You just keep it fresh in people's minds. If you're not going to give me quality, then at least you can give me quantity. And I do appreciate that from the Damage Control stuff. With that being said, this isn't the best night when it comes with this angle. Probably the weakest of what I've seen so far. Mind you, I didn't see last week's, but from what I'm seeing right here, not a good build so far for Damage Control. It started off pretty hyped, and we still got next week to see where this is going to go. But you did have Dakota Kai. She did challenge Bayley for next week in a match that should be... I'm going to keep my eyes on that. Again, this week, not so good, and the build is kind of falling out of favor for me. No thanks to WWE for consistently burying it in comparison to how they're, promoting Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch. And I know Rhea and Becky is the bigger deal, but I mean, I'll chill. We'll see next week. And I also see right now that Rey Mysterio is going to come next week also. He's going to return next week. So how they're going to probably start building up him and Legado del Fantasma, or maybe him versus Santos Escobar. We'll see how that's going to go. But just kind of reverting back really quick, I do want to talk about the segment or the match with Dragon Lee and going up against Angel Garza, and it was a nothing match in my opinion. It was a little bit too short. The guys just went out there and just did stereotypical wrestling for 2024 standards, and even then, for the two guys who were wrestling, it felt kind of slow, at least to me. But like I said, I don't really care for the matches all too much, especially building up the WrestleMania. I want to be entertained. Are you not entertained? I want to be entertained. Shout out to Jay Williams. Let's live life. To all my real ones. Okay, I'm down. Don't steal the match dick. But after the match, you had Legado del Fantasma beat the shit out of him, which I'm confused. So was there nobody from the LWO backstage to help out Dragon Lee? Absolutely nobody? Okay, Rey Mysterio is not going to be here till next week. I get that. But nobody? Carlito, the two guys who I can't remember their fucking names right now. Not even Zelina Vega? Nobody? Okay, whatever. I'm just saying, I mean, the guy was right there next to you guys being associates. You know what? Now that I think about it, that might be a pretty slick way to group him in with Legado del Fantasma when you think about it. Huh. Right? Because LWO, they weren't out there to help him out, and you had Carlito, and you had Ray Ray, and, because I'm looking at Legado del Fantasma, I'm looking at the LWO, and it's like, it seems a bit uneven. Is it just me, or it just seems a bit uneven? Like, I feel like the LWO, let me see, the LWO, they have Ray, Carlito, Zelina, and their tag team, and Legado has their girl, Santos, and the tag team. Yeah, so they're missing someone to match up with Carlito, theoretically, right? Who's to say that Dragon Lee doesn't turn on Ray and the rest of the LWO to line up with Legado del Fantasma, and it just ends up being this big schmoz fest going into WrestleMania. Who knows, right? Might even be an elimination match. But that's what I think. I think I'm gonna say it right now. Yeah, that's right. Kalisto Grand Metalik, he's definitely gonna turn on he's gonna turn on the LWO. I'm calling it right now. Let's get it. Let's go. Speaking of let's go, and let's get to the main event segment. And again, hopefully they deliver tonight, because once again, not a promising night so far, at least in my opinion. All right, I can't front, guys. This was very hit and miss. This is a very mixed bag. I'm not gonna say it was all the way bad, but it was definitely more bad than it was good. I can't front. It was definitely more bad than it was good. Now, you had Roman come out. He's like strolling down to the ring, super long entrance and all, per usual. It's Roman Reigns, right? And then you have The Rock come out. This was actually pretty good. The Rock comes out. He has this new entrance where like he comes out, and like the beginning of it is like shooting a bunch of electricity and lightning down on the floor. It looks really cool. And then like it'll hit center and you can't see Rock, but then when the lightning clears up, it shows him sitting in the center. It's a really cool entrance. I like that a lot. It's like he's channeling his inner Black Adam, minus the bombing in the movie theaters. Not literally, but figuratively. I mean, come on, we got people nowadays who can't tell that internet jokes are internet jokes, so you kind of have to say things like that, right? And then you have Seth and Cody coming out towards like they're the Shield or something, coming out the audience way. It's so corny and cheesy, and it's so lame. Why are you why are you coming down the stairway? And better yet, like, I don't understand. Like, you're in the ring talking for like 10 to 15 minutes. You mean to tell me that Nick Aldis could have bring the security out like during that time, like that entire time frame? Like, oh god, this is. Regardless, though, they get in the ring, and the verbiage, they did not really sell me on this at all. I was not getting it. So Rock kept repeating the same insults over and over again to Seth Rollins. Like, if he called him a walking clown emoji one more goddamn time, I swear to God, bro. And Cody, he's not really fun to listen to on the microphone sometimes, and he didn't really say much during this promo. And he's talking, and then Rock interrupts him, and he tells him to shut up, and then eventually Seth tells him to shut up. And honestly, it's a bad promo, at least in my opinion, when Seth is probably the best part of the entire promo. Which, by the way, can I just say this? I know we're trying to give Seth his WrestleMania main event. I get it. But god damn it, bro. And I'm probably the only one. Maybe I'm the only one. I'm looking at the ring, and I'm looking at everybody. I'm looking at Roman. I'm looking at The Rock. I'm looking at Cody Rhodes, and even Cody to a lesser degree, but at least he won the Royal Rumble. At least he's presented as a legitimate big star. And I'm looking at Seth, and I'm just like, bro, did they shoehorn you into this? Like, you were like the male Charlotte Flair. There better be some storyline implications and some implements going on with Seth Rollins as to why he's in this tag team match. Because I'm looking at this, and I'm like, bro, you have no business being a part of this at all. He looks so out of place. Even when he's going face to face with The Rock, he just looks so like, yeah, just I don't know. I don't want to say out of place. Out of place is kind of putting him mildly. Like, bro, he is so out of his league. You know what I mean? Like, he's barely on par with Cody Rhodes, and he's like going face to face with The Rock, and it's like, you are so out of your depth, at least optically speaking. Looking at how they're like next to each other, they just look so out of place, bro. He just does not, I don't want to say he doesn't belong, because he is the world champion after all, but man, he should probably go focus on Drew McIntyre. Put all your attention on Drew McIntyre. And honestly, I don't know, is it just me? Like, kayfabe wise, I know Drew is gonna fight Seth, but I don't know, maybe not just from a kayfabe, but even like legitimately, like a real life standpoint, I feel kind of offended if I was Drew. Like, no, like, is it just me? Like, you got one guy who thinks so little of you that he's dividing his time, his WrestleMania time, to go deal with the other guys because he so desperately wants to get in the main event, while he's probably going to face you in the opener for the secondary world championship. Like, I don't want to say Drew's like an afterthought as far as how they're booking him, because in the end of the day, he is still really fun to watch on television, but it does kind of seem like they're booking him a little bit like an afterthought. And again, I get the whole perspective of wanting to give Seth his main event, but man, do you have to go about it in this way? I understand everything is kind of jumbled up with all the injuries, and, you know, it was kind of, you know, second guessing whether or not Seth Rollins was going to be okay to compete, but man, it just, I don't know. And then, just because he didn't want the promo, I don't even remember what Roman said. That's how bad this is. I think he said something on the lines of, you're going to let Seth, because Seth, when he was talking to The Rock after he told him to shut up, he got some good one-liners where he was like, you're in the middle of your midlife crisis and you're trying to use this as your time, but you're trying to steal our time, something like that. It was actually pretty good, though. I'm not really doing it justice. And then Roman Reigns, he's like, you're going to let this guy answer on behalf of you, because he's responding to what Cody Rhodes said earlier to The Rock, where he was essentially saying that, hey, I don't understand how you're making decisions right now when Roman Reigns is right there and you just called him your tribal chief last week. So, like, who are you to make decisions, essentially poking fun at The Rock. So that's why Roman Reigns said what he said. And then The Rock, and he interrupted everything, and he was essentially like, oh, well, you two clowns, I want you to understand that if you don't accept this match, not only are you not going to finish your story. What did he say? No, he didn't. I'm sorry. I think he said, if you accept this match, I want you to understand, after this match, you better finish your story, because you're never going to get a title shot ever again. Never forget, I'm your boss and I'm your boss. Still kind of blurring the lines a little bit, which I can appreciate. It just wasn't really hitting in this, I don't know, it just wasn't really hitting for me here. Everything just kind of feels like a universe mode cutscene, or in this case, a universe mode promo, I guess, just with two people instead of, or four people instead of two. But eventually it gets to a point where The Rock, he's like saying, oh, all our ancestors are looking down on us. His grandfather's looking down, my grandfather is looking down, and your dad is looking down. My hero, Dusty Rhodes. And he's like talking about his personal life. He's like talking about his sister. He's talking about, Goldust. And he's like, Hall of Famer. One was a cheerleader for the Dallas Cowboys or something like that. And he's like, it's crazy. I mean, you're like 20 years as far as age difference from all your siblings, right? And Cody's like, yeah. And he's like, you know why? And Cody's like, why? And The Rock is like, it's because you were a mistake. And like, you see the Smackdown logo come up in the middle of all this, and it looks like they're about to go off the air, and then Cody slaps The Rock in the face, and they didn't even give it time to breathe. They just went off the air like that. And that was just so goddamn lame. All of that was lame, bruh. Now, I get the progression of the story. That's fine. The Rock's entrance was fine. Seth Rollins, although optically he just doesn't look like he fits in all this, he just doesn't belong in that spot, in my opinion. But I will say, at least from his promo, at least for what he was trying to get across, it was fine, I guess. But this just didn't hit right. This didn't deliver, in my opinion. They're going to have to do better than this. They're going to have to come more correct going into WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania season. This right here ain't going to cut the mustard, brother. Now, again, it wasn't downright terrible. I'm not going to say that. But for WrestleMania purposes, considering this is going to be the main event for night one, and, you still have Cody and Roman, which I guess we're not even talking about anymore. Like, lest we forget that Cody and Roman is still a thing. Man, The Rock, I swear, man, his star power overshadows so much. It really, really does. And, you know, you can say that's a good thing because it's bringing a lot of attention to WWE, but then at the same time, it can be sort of kind of a bad thing also because it's like, well, everything is about The Rock, and you're kind of forgetting that Roman and Cody is the main event for night 2. You're kind of forgetting that Drew McIntyre does have a title shot against Seth Rollins. And everything just, I don't know, it's just everything revolves around The Rock, and everything revolving around The Rock just kind of makes the product, not the product, I want to say that, but it just makes this current storyline going forward lack a little bit. Like, I get, The Rock is awesome. He's always going to be awesome. But you have to do something to kind of elevate his peers around him so it can kind of feel like something of substance, right? Because even you got through a world champion at Roman Reigns, who's been this long-term champion, where it looks like he's going to lose the belt to Cody Rhodes after holding the belt for damn near 4 years, who's being little broed by The Rock, right? And then you have Cody Rhodes, and he's not even a bigger star than Roman Reigns. And then you have Seth Rollins, he's not even a bigger star than Cody Rhodes. They are all out of whack from a popularity standpoint. And can you imagine, I like making references to general manager mode, but can you imagine playing general manager mode, for an example, and you have The Rock out there who has like a 98 popularity, and then you have Roman who has an 85 popularity, and then you have Cody who's like an 81 popularity, and then you have Seth Rollins who's a 77 popularity. It just feels like everything is out of place is what I'm saying. And it's like, if you want to really maximize that star system within your general manager mode, obviously you'll put a 98 popularity in there with a 98 popularity or someone close to that. But you guys want Cody to finish his story, all right? I want the belt off of Roman too, but these are the consequences that come with this in the end of the day when dealing with The Rock. I like The Rock. The Rock is awesome. But if this is the path that it's going to go down as far as the story is considered, man, this ain't looking too good. But I'm always willing to give it a chance. We still got a couple of weeks to WrestleMania. So I'm going to let you guys have the conversation amongst each other in the comment section below. And I'm going to head up out of here. So as always, my name is Devontae, and I'll be catching all you guys later. Deuces. P. Eyes.